no one else who loves me like you used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves. There's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant.
Good morning and welcome to round two, day two of the Bowls Auckland Centre Finals weekend. And this morning still, we bring you coverage of the men's triples final to be played between Bridge Park Bowling Club and East Tamaki Bowling Club. And my name is Brendan Walton, and I am joined in commentary now by Brett O'Reilly.
Kia ora, Brendan, and really looking forward to this final. Two very well matched sides. And some international players to boot, with two Cook Island representatives playing out of Bridge Park, and Taiki Paneani and Teo Turua teaming up with Phil Taylor. And from the East Tamaki Club, we've got Ray Ao, John Ormond and Storm Tanaki. And both of these teams have been obviously in great form to get through to this final in one of Bowls Auckland's premier events.
Yeah, and a couple of really good semi-finals over on the far rinks. Both teams defeating Bridge Park defeating the Royal Oak side, skipped by Danny Delaney, Sam Taloki and David Akaruru. And the East Tamaki side defeating the Royal Oak side, featuring John Carruthers, James Gavin and Kevin Dixon. So plenty of talent on the green today. And also as an added bonus, the East Tamaki boys are all going for their first centre title,
which is great to see. Yeah, that was a really good win for them over a really experienced trio in John Carruthers, James Gavin and Kevin Dixon. Between them, a hell of a lot of experience, and you know, the Royal Oak team, skipped by former New Zealand international Danny Delaney, Sam Taloki, who's played for Tonga in the past, and David Akaruru, who's played for Cook Islands. So once again, the colour and diversity that is bowls here in Auckland, and we're going to get a really good game here under the cover at Remuera. Superb indoor facility. We saw some great games and some really tight bowls yesterday, and in the finals, and no reason to think we won't see something similar today.
Yeah, and I mean this facility really does promote good quality bowls. We've seen in the women's singles finals the ability to draw incredible shots, and I mentioned earlier, Brett, it's actually just been recently stretched again, so it is playing a bit quicker than perhaps what the players would be used to from the previous weeks, and it's getting a lot more draw and a lot more consistent draw on the rinks here. In the past, we've seen it plays sort of quite a narrow line with good speed, whereas now both hands seem to be drawing quite nicely.
Yeah, I wondered about it yesterday when I was watching the coverage, and I thought the bowls seemed to be playing with a bit of finish. I've played on this rink a few times myself over the years, and yeah, definitely showing a lot more green. That's Phil Taylor delivering his last bowl for the Bridge Park team. Phil, who is not Fijian, but his wife is Fijian, and he spent a lot of time working in Fiji as an accountant, and still very actively involved there. So a real Pacific flavour for this final, and I'm always interested in how our Pacific players are going in my role as Regional Director Oceania for the World Bowls Board, and very much looking forward to our next edition of the Digicel Oceania Challenge, which is scheduled to be played in Auckland Tamaki Makaurau in November of this year, and just finalising some of those arrangements with Bowls Auckland and Bowls New Zealand around that event, and we can expect to see some of these players featuring in that event. I would expect.
Yeah, definitely. I think you'd see Taiki and Tio make their appearances again for Cook Islands. Sam as well for Tonga. Pretty
Absolutely.
much just not just a guaranteed pick, but they'd certainly be in the in that discussion. And interestingly, this year the decision's been made to play it undercover.
Yes, it was. It was interesting because there aren't artificial greens in the Pacific, but I think last time we played it at Blockhouse Bay, which played very well, but it was fast and it was windy, and so I think the Pacific countries who had actually warmed up by playing indoors because the weather had been a bit inclement in Auckland that week. When we had our last Oceania Confederation meeting, they decided that they wanted to play undercover, and so fortunately in Auckland we're blessed with some very good facilities, and I think the plan is Royal Oak will be headquarters and Newlyn will be the second green. Still waiting for confirmation of how many countries will participate, but I expect we'll see a few. So Tio just checking with Phil and Taiki what they want him to do, and he's playing with weight, looking for that shot bowl, and he's on a good line. He's close here. He's very close. Oh, just gets the edge of that front bowl.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a contrasting game here compared to the women's singles final, where we saw a lot of good quality drawing shots. Both Tio and Ray can be quite the aggressive player, particularly Tio,
Yep.
very well known for his attacking shots.
Very very attacking player. Played was part of a very successful Cook Islands fours team, including Taiki Paniani, who reached the quarterfinals, I think, of the World Bowls fours, quarterfinals or semis. I should know because I was there at Helensvale, and Teal played very, very well. He was quite outstanding actually, and they were a little bit stiff not to go further. They were playing the Scots, Alec Marshall and Paul Foster.
Yeah, oh yes, I do remember that game.
Yeah.
Yes,
And the Scots just got away on them a little bit towards the end of the game at Helensvale, but they played very well, and Teal in particular really played some great bowls to keep his side in it, as I say, with Taiki in that team, and Aidan Zitterstein, and someone will remind me who the fourth player was in a minute. But I think Adoni
yes,
was in that team. So it was a good unit.
Yeah, I was trying to go through them all in my head. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was Adoni. Yeah. And
So
then-
a little unusual to see Taiki leading.
yeah, I was just about to say he usually tends to skip. He skipped the Commonwealth Games bronze medal with Aidan back at the Gold Coast a few years back now.
But definitely a good draw player. But he'll have his work cut out here because the East Tamaki team have been playing very, very consistent bowls.
And East Tamaki's a club that seems to, well, I don't mean to sound harsh, but they're going through a rejuvenation phase. They've just had their 75th year, celebrated that over the Easter weekend, and they seem to have really grown in membership and their presence on the greens in Auckland over this last 12 months. They've had a lot of teams playing in centre events. They're blessed to have probably one of the best playing greens in Auckland at the moment, which I think has been a contributing factor. We've certainly had quite a few centre events there for the men this past season.
It's been really great to see. I mean, I think the club, some of our viewers will remember the late Chris Salisa, who was a really dominant figure in that East Tamaki club and in Auckland Bowls indeed. And I actually succeeded him as an Auckland selector about 6 years ago. He died tragically on his way to a rugby game. He passed away in the train, and Chris was one of those amazing characters. Seemed to do everything in the game and was very involved with East Tamaki, and I think his presence was really missed. So it's great to see the club back on its feet. Good bowl there from Phil Taylor. drawing the shot, and so I think it's great, and it's obviously a big fast-growing area of Auckland, so it's great to have that bowling club doing so well. And it's always been a pretty good green. It was actually one of the greens was used as preparation for the Manchester Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, correct. That back green down there.
Yeah. So John Elmer just getting a slide of the jack there, so still 1 to Bridge Park. So yeah, great to see the club doing so well. And I know when we decided to hold the Oceania Challenge here in Auckland, Tamaki Makaurau, one of the reasons was to further develop the Pacific game and the participation of Pacific communities in our game, and it's just been great to see that happening, and great to see East Tamaki is one of the clubs, Brendan, that's leading the way.
Oh, 100%. And, you know, when you look at those clubs and Otahuhu Railway as well, they're going through a bit of a rejuvenation as well. They've had a bit of trouble over the last, couple of years, let's say, but they're certainly fighting. They're coming back around. Mangere is another club that, perhaps not playing actively, but they've got a few very passionate members that are trying to keep the club alive and keep the game alive. And it's great. I mean, it's really important those South Auckland clubs are kind of banding together now a little bit, working together and helping each other out.
Yeah, it's really good to see. I mean, bowls is such a good game to get people off the couch and into a bit of exercise. I was in Malaysia recently looking at what they're doing with bowls there, and there they're very focused on youth, and they've got a lot of young people in Malaysia playing bowls. Jump on a plane and travel an hour and you're in Singapore, and there the focus is on what they call active ageing, and the Singapore government investing a lot of money in encouraging older Singaporeans to play bowls. So lots of opportunities to get good public health outcomes and in general get people participating in our sport. So 1 to Bridge Park as Teal just tries to see if he can sit that bowl, just slips past. You won't see many short bowls from Teal.
No. And I feel like he's got a new set of bowls again. Every time I see him, he's got a different set of bowls. I know he changes it up. He's got a set of 4s and a set of 5s. And depending on the green speed and whatever mood he's in that day, he changes his bowls to be more attacking, less aggressive, different weights, different lines. And this is a great shot coming in here, just gets caught up.
I really rate Teo. I think he's one of the most natural players I've seen for a long time. He actually reminded me when I was in Auckland Select when we first picked him in the Auckland team. He reminded me of a young Danny O'Connor, just in his very positive style of play, and very good driver, but equally a good draw player. And it's been pleasing to see him continue to fulfil his potential.
Definitely. He's always got a smile on his face when he's on the green, and you see it all the time. He just lights up the room.
Sure does. Well, 1 to Bridge Park, so we're all square after 2 of the 18 ends in this final of the Bowls Auckland Centre triples. And Taiki Paniani will deliver the jack, and let's see what length they're going to play. You would think longer, because they tend to be used to playing on slower surfaces, these guys, and that suggests he wasn't very happy with that. It looks like it's he did indeed attempt to go long, but ended up in the ditch. Can be a little bit tricky delivering the jack on these indoor surfaces. The jack can skid a little bit, as you know.
Yeah, definitely does. It's sort of a skill in itself, throwing a jack on a carpet green.
It is, and I know some clubs use a slightly different weighted jack on the carpet greens to try and just hold them back a little bit. Right, so Taiki with his first bowl of this third end. Played the forehand last time this way. Let's see how accurate he is this time. Pretty good line. Just going to pull up short.
Yeah, we noticed in the women's singles final specifically, this hand coming away from the clubhouse now, the bowls tend to really slow down and hook quite aggressively at the end.
Yeah, I watched that pairs final yesterday. and again, there were a lot of short bowls played on that side of the rink, and most of the players seem to prefer the right-hand side as we look to the screen. But that's a great first bowl.
Yeah, sometimes you don't mind those little reiki runners if if the bowl sticks with them.
Indeed. What can Taiki do this time? Oh, he's running.
Oh, that's an interesting shot choice.
Swing and a miss, but just goes to show that Bridge Park are not going to let the head settle against them. Using Taiki's experience and skills as a back-end player, I'm not expecting we'll see Phil Taylor running at it, but
No.
but let's wait and see.
I don't think he's quite got that pace in him these days, but Taiki, you were talking before about Teo skipping the Auckland 4, and Taiki now, currently, well this season at least, has been skipping the Auckland Development 4, so plenty of back-end experience in this Bridge Park team at a representative level.
So Phil Taylor out on the forehand, he'll be looking to get one close. Very steady player. Has also played for Auckland on and off over the last few seasons. It's one of those players that just is always there and thereabouts. Not flashy, but obviously very solid in the middle of this side. John Allman now for the East Tamaki team. Can he add another shot? Just got a bit wide on that hand. So, one at the moment to East Tamaki. And I imagine Teo will be playing with weight to this, looking to sit the shot bowl or get a turn on Phil Taylor's bowl. Coming down on a pretty good line here.
Yeah, having second shot there from Phil gives him options. He can hit that running edge up, but equally play the other hand now and be quite safe in trying to move that kitty. Or even more so now, he's probably might even have the shot there.
Yep, pretty close there for shot. Let's see what John Almond says to Ray his skip. Just drawing down on that forehand side for the right-handers, and this looks short.
Yeah, just never really had the way. Had the line right. Certainly looking to play underneath that bowl of Taiki's up there.
And just emphasises the fact that is the slower of the two sides of the rink, and so you tend to not hard to be short. Teo again on his backhand.
Didn't seem like he liked that one very much.
He's on a pretty good line. It's holding.
Just depends on how he hits this.
It's the back edge of it. Well, he's just made 3 shots.
That's a great result.
That's an amazing result. Just shows playing with really good weight. John Armand saying, "Look, I think we might be 3 down here. You need to play up to that. We've got bowls behind, so there's no reason to be short."
Oh yeah, good option to be aggressive here. You've got the 3 back bowls in the ditch. If you can get that kitty through to the ditch and go with it cleanly, you'd be holding 3 or 4.
So probing down on the backhand side and on a pretty good line here. Is he going to
Bend a little bit.
Well, he might have
Well.
got second prize. He might have got the shot. Taiki Paniani clapping. Phil Taylor says, I think I'm going to measure that and just see whether we've got the shot. So again, really well weighted bowl. It's coming down that channel. Let's see what the measure tells us. And it's 1 to East Tamaki. That's a great bowl by their skip.
Ray. Yeah, good save there from Ray. Bit of pressure early on in the game.
Now, what length will they opt for? Again, the mat's a little bit further up than where Taiki placed it, similar to the last end. And so obviously preferring about a 3/4 length. Now, can he nail it with the first bowl? Close, Brendan.
Yeah, it looks like it's just not going to get there. And this is a trick with the carpet green. Obviously, it doesn't quite run on as it would, particularly for these Tamaki boys. As we mentioned, that green out there is pretty slick, so they'd be used to their bowls running on quite a long way.
Absolutely, and I know we're playing inside, but we've had an awful lot of rain in Auckland over the weekend, and that will make the green a little bit sluggish. There's a lot of moisture in the air, a little bit of humidity, and that tends to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely the humidity makes quite a huge difference on these carpet greens, and it's actually interesting. I was talking to the club president, Peter Bennett, here, and Remuera have just recently had their indoor and their outdoor carpet green redone by Tiger Turf, and we were discussing the differences between the two surfaces. They got laid at a fairly similar time. They've had the same sort of maintenance. And the working theory is that actually being exposed to the elements, having the heat, the sun, the rain and everything actually makes the green perform better. He reckons that the indoor carpet actually struggles a bit more than the outdoor.
Interesting.
Interesting theory, and they've still got the sprinklers in the stadium here, obviously, having this used to be an outdoor green, so
Yes.
he's put them on a few times, and he reckons that it does make a difference. It changes that humidity, the moisture level, and it does affect the playing surface.
And I think with a bit of moisture on the carpet greens, it definitely makes them quicker.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which seems counterintuitive, but the humidity slows them down. But if you get a little bit of water on them, it just seems to flatten the pile a little bit more and just make it a little bit quicker. So again, a really good start from East Tamaki here, holding at least 2 shots, and Phil Taylor just sliding by. Ray's team are really laying a good foundation for him here.
Yeah, it's interesting intent with Phil's shot to be that heavy. It could have just been a slip of the hand, but I wouldn't have expected him to be racing at the head like that.
John Allman just being told just to come past. They're holding 2 good shots there and just been asked by Ray to just try and come past and just cover those back bowls just in case Bridge Park do get contact with the jack. So Phil Taylor, we're expecting him to be drawing a little bit more this time.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be unrealistic to think Tio will be looking for that kitty if Phil's unsuccessful here, which it's looking like he will be.
Yeah, again, wide and heavy. That's 4 pretty disappointing bowls from the Bridge Park team. Ray having a chat to John Almond and just assessing what they're going to do. He won't want to fatten the target up, but equally, it is possible both of those bowls could go. They do have a bowl just short of the jack, which is probably 4th shot. But let's see what Ray does with his first. Again on a pretty good line.
Just looks to be tidying up the draw. If he can move that jack around the corner, he'd be put him in a good position. Equally, a short bowl here would be brilliant.
Yeah, he gets a clap from John Elman. That's counting.
Yeah, it's It's a very good use of probably what was not quite what he was after, but it's going to make Tia rethink his options.
Yep, coming onto the backhand. Just caught a little wide here. And again, a little heavy as well. So just bringing this jack a little bit shorter seems to have thrown off the Bridge Park boys a bit on this end. All of their bowls have been over the head.
Oh, it's that classic psychology, isn't it? We saw in the women's singles final that shorter end. Estelle didn't quite get it. Hannah picked up a 3, and then there was perhaps a slight error where the jack was thrown long, and it became the turning point in the game, really. And even discussing with both the ladies afterwards, they agreed that was kind of the point where Estelle just got that bit of rhythm back after playing a bad short end, and with Hannah not being able to change that jack length, just didn't quite execute as well as she perhaps could have. And it's interesting now for Bridge Park, if Tio looks to be on a better weight this time though, he'll sit the outside one out, so it'll still be 2 I would think for
Looks like it. Out comes
Tamaki.
Out comes the measure. 1, Phil Taylor rolls out there. Now, has Tio managed to get second or third shot here?
Oh, that green ball wasn't.
Yeah, well, so it's East Tamaki just getting off to a good early start here, just finding the rhythm a little bit earlier than their Bridge Park opponents.
You see Storm bringing them out about halfway up. He looks to have thrown a pretty good jack as well. So sticking to that shorter end is the East Tamaki side.
And 2-bowl triples tends to be a leads game. There aren't a lot of bowls on the head, so if you can get there first, you set yourself up pretty well. And at the moment it's Storm who's making the early running at lead. And again, pretty handy here with this first one, a little wide on that tighter side, but still pretty handy.
Yeah, it's an interesting contrast at 2-bowl triples, because when you think, pairs having 6 bowls and 2-bowl triples having 6 bowls total, pairs can be quite an attacking game. It is still very much a leads drawing game, but skips tend to be a bit more aggressive in their approach. But 2-bowl triples, it's very easy to be punished if you start chasing numbers at the wrong time and not executing that shot play.
Indeed, interesting. Taiki Paniani changing his hand this end to that. I guess what we're saying, the wider side of the ring. Not that it's particularly wide hand. And Storm just missing his line here, and a bit light on weight as well. Still has the shot, but he'd be pretty disappointed with that second bowl after being reasonably close with his first. Taiki not sure he can still get in there, and just looking for some instruction from Teo. No, I think he's going to stay on that backhand side.
Yeah, I think both hands are turning quite nicely. I'd just perhaps suggest that the one on the rink side, or the left of screen as we see it at the moment, just kind of to be a bit later in its turn, whereas the right hand side of screen is a more even draw. The left is a bit more violent at the end. And I think interestingly, because I believe Taiki's playing with dynamics, which aren't the widest of bowls, they're probably not the best suited for a carpet surface at the best of times. Whereas all the other players seem to have that kind of mid-bias bowl.
John Armand now. Anchor in the middle of this East Tamaki side, and he's close here. That's a great bowl.
He's been quite fortunate that he's just been able to build on what Storm's giving him, really. He's not found himself coming to the mat under too much pressure as of yet.
Went a little bit further than I thought actually there. So 2-2 East Tamaki. Now, what can Phil Taylor do in the middle of this Bridge Park team? He'll get a little bit more turn out of his bowl, as we see. He's just going to sit on Storm's bowl, and that's 1 to Bridge Park. Trailing 4-1 in this 18-end final. John Armand just slightly over with his first. Again, he's on a good line here. Just going to start to break, but again, just a little over. Handy bowls there, but he'd be disappointed with that. Heavier than his first bowl.
Yeah, it's still quite an open head, plenty of room to draw one in nice and close. Phil will just be wanting to improve. If you can, certainly on a better line, just you see that sort of ring. Wow, that's stayed really straight.
Yeah, just a little bit overweighted, and yeah, the bowl just seemed to, at the point where you thought it was going to start to break,
Yeah.
just straighten up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I was just looking at the boundary marker where it sort of turned in on his previous delivery, and it just sort of ran that bit of weight just made it run straighter and stayed out there.
So one to Bridge Park, and I imagine Teal will be again playing on that for him. Oh, it's of course Ray to play first. Now, great pre-shot routine he goes through. He's down on this forehand side. Just looking to see if he can draw in there. Just going to slip past on the high side.
You suspect plenty of room for Teo to slot one in there.
Yeah, on a pretty good line here. That looks like it's going to be the shot itself. Yep. Players are applauding well in advance of it arriving, so, and it's a toucher. So 2 to Bridge Park. What can Ray do here? Close.
Yeah, it's a great bowl.
Yeah, very good bowl. Bridge Park still holding one. Teo's first bowl. And he'll be looking to see if he can add another one. Relatively safe down that side as long as you keep your green, which he has.
Yeah, there's not too much danger in moving the jack. You'd have to be quite heavy to take it back to John Armand's bowls, slipping under there.
One to Bridge Park, so it's 4-2 now to East Tamaki. We've played 5 of the 18 ends as Taiki Paniani gets us underway on end 6. And predictably, it's a longer end. Matt's at about 2 metres, and the jack will be spotted on that 2 metre mark. And let's see if this results in a momentum change, because Taiki would be pretty disappointed with his bowls so far. I don't think he's had the shot once.
No, he's certainly being outled at the moment by his opposition in Storm.
This looks a bit closer. Yep, that's why he's a Commonwealth Games bronze medalist.
Much better start.
So can Storm make the adjustment? A little on the tight side. Pretty good weight. Just going to start to slip away, as you said. It just get that late turn there, particularly if you're playing with a turning bowl. I see Storm's playing with tailors.
Yeah, it looks like a GTR just based on the way that's kind of finishing there. Sort of the more finishing bowl of the Taylor range.
Taiki with his second one, and again just a little heavy, but that's a good spot. 2 shots to Bridge Park, I think. And what can Storm do with his second one? Out on a pretty good line here.
He's certainly made his correction from his previous delivery.
Yep, he's going to be very close. He's just going to get the outside bowl. Just held a little, didn't it?
It did, and you could see it was looking all the way, and then just at that last moment where you were expecting it to break, it just didn't quite do the work. But I think this is the first time that we see Phil stepping up holding the shot, so Hopefully that just relaxes him into his work a little bit more. Very unique little flick that he has there.
Yeah, it's like a jab, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, works
but
well for him.
he's very effective. Yeah, just gets a nice little touch off that bowl of Storm, so that's 2 to Bridge Park. As John Almond switches over to play the backhand side.
I'm going to predict this one's pulling up short. It didn't look the smoothest out of the hand.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, it's made it.
Yeah, actually much better speed than we thought, but just not much turn on that hand. So Phil Taylor will be looking to reach down that side again. A pretty good line here. He's got the weight. He's going to be very close.
Well, he doesn't want to flick it. 2 to 2, I think.
Yes, I agree. A bit tighter, but let's see what John Armand's got in store. Coming down with reaching weight, looking to sit the bowl or the jack, and I think he's going to get daylight. Probably a little quicker than he needed to play it, Brendan.
Yeah, I suspect he was in between 2 shots there, sort of trying to play a bit of weight to hold it up, but then also wanting to take his green also. Definitely didn't need to be reaching the ditch.
So, Storm's bowl on the bottom right of your screen is the Bacchus bowl, but Taiki Paniani has one, as you can see, the yellow and speckled bowl on the left, which is also a catcher. So T will be relatively safe here to try and draw another shot, and he's pretty close here.
Interesting he's playing on the forehand. I know he's got the option to push Taiki's bowl up, but I'd thought he'd had more chance of scoring if he tucked the jack around the other way towards Taiki's back bowl. He's now given Ray quite a nice little port there to play through.
Yeah, whether he was just fearful about, that with that side holding a little bit, and whether he's fearful about turning up that closest bowl of Bridge Park, but Ray now, he'll be reaching down on that backhand side. Got much better weight for the shot, and it's going to be close here. Just buckles away, and that's unlucky.
Yeah, it's a really good speed for the shot too.
Gave it every chance, and who would have thought you could have on that line not touch anything.
Yeah. Probably got a little bit more turn than he was expecting at the end there. Tio just having those discussions about where the danger lies. Assuming Storm plays the same way, you suspect the danger is just sitting the shot bowl, so at worst you go 1 down.
Yeah, I think Tio said to Phil Taylor, I don't want to play that other hand, I don't want to turn their bowl in. So just try and get out wide, see if he can cover, which he's done. If it stays up, and I think it does. No, just dropped into the ditch. The end there, so you can see just trying to cover those back to that back bowl of Ray's. But at this stage, Bridge Park holding 3.
It'd be interesting to see if Ray sticks with the same weight or if he feels inclined to be a bit heavier, knowing that he's now got a good back bowl to play to.
Reaching down there again, but I think he's gone a bit wide this time. Start to break, but yeah, went a little bit quicker, as you said, Brendan.
And a bit wider, yeah.
Yep, so 3 it is, and Bridge Park hit the lead in this Bowls Auckland Centre Triples final. And they now lead 5-4 after 6 of the 18 ends.
Interesting that the Carlton Cornwall crew aren't smiling very much, considering there's 2 Carlton players in the final.
Yes. Maybe that's bemusement rather than ambivalence.
The twin sisters and Linda and Estelle making their way through to the final. after winning both their respective semi-finals. Obviously the broadcast game, Estelle defeating Hannah Dawson 21-11, and Linda defeating Pippa Hassel of the Titirangi Bowling Club 21-10.
And Estelle and Linda have had great seasons, haven't they?
Phenomenal.
You know, the National Interclub title, Linda being part of the winning National Fours team, playing for Dale Rayner with Karen Guilford and Reen Bellis.
Yeah. And both recently being involved in the winning National Interclub Sevens team for Carlton Cornwall as well.
Yeah, no, they've been both incredibly consistent players. Of course, their mother, a former South African international, and I think a medalist at the Victoria Commonwealth Games back in 1978, and then the family resettled here in New Zealand, and Linda and Estelle have been just two really consistent players.
Yeah. And I happened to be at Carlton Cornwall a few weeks ago. We had the 1-5 quad, and they were finishing off their club championship singles finals, and it was Estelle and Linda in the semi-final. And Estelle shot off to, I think it was like a 13-0 lead. It was looking like an absolute whitewash. And then all of a sudden Linda picked up a 3, and next thing it was 13 all, and Linda ended up taking the win there to eventually fall to Ashley Jeffcoat in the final. But a great semi-final. So they've played each other 100 times, I'm sure, but always very intense battles.
Yeah, two very, very good players. So one here to Bridge Park, Taiki Paniani's second bowl, and right on cue, Phil Taylor
a great shot.
Draws a really good bowl. So 2 to Bridge Park, and just a little bit of a momentum change here. Longer ends, Taiki getting a little bit closer. It's not that the Storm's that far away.
No, but I think just that little bit of extra confidence, as you say, to the Bridge Park side.
John Armour just pulling up short there. They'd be disappointed with that. Everything to be playing up to. Chance to sit those bowls or trail the jack, and Phil Taylor wide open as he jabs down that backhand side. Pretty good weight here. Is he going to miss John Armour's front bowl? He's going to just slide underneath and just missing his line there. Another bowl on the head, but not particularly effective.
No, you wouldn't be too disappointed in it. It's just a minor little correction. John will be looking to reach this time. I'd be very surprised if... Wow, it's really holding out there on that line.
Yeah, just not getting that much bite at all out of that bowl. And again, he'd be disappointed to be short. We often say in bowls that the second player should play high.
Yeah.
Whether it's in triples or fours, you're really looking for your second to always be slightly past it, just so if you're not getting the shot, you're giving yourself some position bowls. And unfortunately, on this end, Ray doesn't have a bowl past the jack, so that somewhat limits his ability to attack.
And it must look quite inviting though, because you'd be able to see the jack from the mat, and there's a good little port there to play underneath.
Teo on a good line here. He's going to be very close with this bowl. Very close with this bowl. That's going to be 3. Yep. That's 3 shots, and that's a great bowl. It just closes off that jack. Now for Ray.
It almost encourages an attacking shot, really.
Yep.
Try to open it up a little bit.
Yeah, he might play this a bit quicker. You've got 3 bowl target. There's a little bit of a gap there, but let's see what he does. He's definitely probing down that backhand side. Not playing with a huge amount of weight.
No,
Really just more of a draw. Well, obviously he saw the opportunity. I thought he would have played at least with a bit of weight, because any connection on Storm's bowl on the right there gives them a reduction.
I sort of wonder if he was intending to play a reaching draw shot and just didn't quite give it the push, because just based on the line he was on, it certainly wasn't the drawing line.
Quite possibly, and of course it is a longer end than they've been playing. So Teal now coming down on that side, he'll be looking to try and land one in the way, or draw another shot. and he's going to be pretty close here. Does he get past it? Yes, he does. Yep, applause from Phil and Taiki. So I think we've got Bridge Park holding 4 shots here. Nice cradle there for Ray. If he can pick that line down there. Let's see. Yes, definitely playing with more weight this time, but he's wide. Did he get a result off the outside bowl?
Oh.
Yes, he does. Almost got the shot, but I think it's still 3 to Bridge Park. Yes, it is
3.
So so we might get a replay of that shot, but sent the bowl of Storm sideways. Could have easily sat on one of the shot bowls, but moved them, but didn't sit on them. So Bridge Park with 3. So we've seen this momentum change with the longer ends. Now, is this one going to stay up?
Doesn't look like it's going to stop.
No. So that's a poor delivery of the jack. Yeah, Taiki looks. I can't say skyward, so I can say it at the ceiling of this indoor facility here at Remuera Bowling Club. And immediately, Storm's got the mat up, probably out to about 6 metres. And he'll be looking at throwing, a 3/4 end, and indeed he has, which was the length that his East Tamaki side have been scoring on up until the last 2 ends, where Bridge Park have scored 3s. So
you can just see in the background there the scoreboard of the women's singles final, 6-7. In favour of Linda at the moment.
And again, we see similar pattern earlier. Taiki heavy with his first bowl. Have to say, not as heavy as he has been in some of the other ends.
No, that's probably a better bowl than what he has been playing on those shorter ends.
Handy, but this has tended to be the length where Storm has played pretty well. And he looks like he's on a very good line here. Yeah, it's a good start for the East Tamaki team.
I do think, just from my experience in playing with aero bowls and having played with Dynamics and Optimas, I think particularly on the shorter lengths on the carpets, you've really got to use your feet.
Yep.
And when you look at where Taiki's standing on the mat, his anchor foot is right in the middle. So he's not really allowing himself to open up and get that hook. And you see here he's brought his line in, and all it's just going to do is cut away. If he moves his foot out to the right-hand side of the mat, keeps the same draw line, he's going to encourage a bit more late hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things we don't see coached as much as certainly when I started the game a long time ago, where people use the mat all the time to change the line rather than changing, instead of changing your sight. Most people, I think, taking their green either off the bank or imagining an arc.
Yeah.
But using the mat just to make subtle adjustments.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of an indoor thing, really, but a lot of indoor bowlers will use the box to utilise their angles. I remember when I first started playing bowls in the early 2010s, it was very much you put your foot in the top right-hand corner, top left-hand corner of the mat, and when you ask why, the answer was always because I told you to, and it's what the book says. But thankfully the game's evolved a bit now, and we're a bit more thinking about it, and there's a bit more of a science to it. It is one of those things you've got to practice, of course. You can't just step out there and do it. You've got to understand why. So we see a great shot there from John.
Yeah, definitely a different East Tamaki side when they're playing on these shorter ends. Phil Taylor was wide and heavy with his first, but he's on a much better line with the second bowl. Starts to break in now, and he's going to be very close here. That's a great bowl, Phil Taylor.
That's a
well
brilliant
played.
shot.
One to Bridge Park, and they have all of the back bowls.
Yeah, definitely good position now for Teo to try and make something of this, and I almost wonder if John should be on the other hand here, to be honest.
Yeah, reaching down on that backhand side, he's just wandering again. Those bowls looked like he had pretty good line, and just with a little bit of weight, just held.
Well, he's actually finished in a pretty good position, to be fair.
He has, and Teo will want to be up to that head, that trademark Turua smile. Nothing ever seems to worry Teo a lot. Very dedicated to the game. I remember when he first made the Auckland squad, Teo installs kitchen benches, which are pretty physical work, and I can remember him driving from Whangarei down to Carlton, Cornwall, so he could participate in a rep practice, which is having been working in Whangarei for a couple of days, and then drove back to Whangarei that night to carry on his work. So that's dedication for you. That's a pretty good bowl from Teo.
Yeah, definitely. I actually didn't give John enough respect there because, to be fair, trying to play that forehand push shot would have been really great, but it would have just left Teo with a wide open drive. So John putting his bowl where he's done has actually created a good position for Storm, ironically, to play the shot that I thought John should have been playing, but Storm's still choosing to stick on that backhand side, and he's, again, pushed in Storm's bowl, giving himself good position to score now if he was to play Storm's shorter bowl up the front left there. Turn it over a couple of times.
So Teo will be looking to try and land one in there. Taiki, he and Phil seem to interchange in calling the shots. Not unusual these days.
No, I quite like it actually. It gives the teams a different perspective. It actually adds that team environment to the game. I get really annoyed when the lead and two on the bank mentality starts coming out. I can appreciate it from the point of view of the greenkeepers not having a million feet trotting on the 2 metre mark, but I think we play as a team and we should communicate as one as well.
So that's a good bowl from Teo. It's not counting, but it's probably taken that forehand shot out that you were calling, Brendan. It is still there, but it's a bit tighter now.
Oh, it's definitely tighter. You want to be more aggressive on it. You've probably got more chance of going 2 down at the back to Taiki's bowls.
And I think this is one of these ends where really, Ray wants to play a very deliberate shot here because, you've just dropped a couple of threes, so you're trailing, so you really want to be positive here.
If Phil's bowl was just half a roll further high, you'd just about want to smack it on the backhand and take it out. But I feel like if you played that drive shot, you'd probably get a piece of the jack.
Yeah, and we can see Taiki's yellow and black bowl there, which is the backest bowl, not particularly a long way back. So what does Ray do here? Does he play?
Well, he's changed his hand.
Yeah, he's definitely going to play forehand. So he's going to play your shot, Brendan. Now let's see how effective he is. On a pretty good line.
Tell you what, he's close.
Pretty good line. He gets Teo's bowl and
Wow,
he gets
that's
the
a
shot.
great result.
That's a great bowl. Very well played. Good weight. Out comes one. I think it's probably only one.
Yeah, from this angle at least, I kind of like Phil's bowl.
Yeah, so do I. But John Armand, he'll be keen to make sure that that he will try and see if they can squeeze 2 out of it. But certainly from our commentary position, it looks like 1. Taiki Paniani's saying to Teo just 1. So really good bowl from Ray. Played that shot you called perfectly, and so 8-5 now to Bridge Park after 8 of our 18 ends here in the Bowls Auckland Centre Triples final.
And again, we see the mat just shy of halfway up the rink.
And Storm Tamaki. Slightly longer length than they've been playing, so let's see how they adjust. Pretty close here, just going to pull up short, I think.
Yeah, not too bad. Something you can build off at least.
Yep, reasonably good opener. Now, which hand will Taiki play? He's preferring this backhand because it is a slightly more turning hand, and he's staying there.
A bit more gentle. Yeah, I think he's got that first bowl in his eye a little bit. He's just probably pushed it a little bit too wide unnecessarily. But it's come around quite a long way.
Yep.
It'll fall in for shot.
Indeed. You just see that benefit of just that late finish that you get on that side where the other hand's a bit straighter.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
that's skinny.
Storm's really gone tight and short with that. Still relatively open for Taiki on that hand.
And what is good about this from Taiki as well is that Phil seems to be favouring the other hand, so it actually lets them build heads from both sides. And it gives Teo a few more options at the back end as well.
He's played this well.
Yeah, this is a great bowl.
Yeah, two very good bowls from Taiki. So perhaps there's Tamaki just not quite finding their length this time. Sort of a little bit longer than they've been playing. John Arman reaching down on this backhand side. He's going to need to hit something.
There's a chance he holds here.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's well played. He's got Storm's bowl. So that's 1 to his Tamaki. And Teal comes out and says to Phil Taylor, you play that on your backhand side, left-hander. See if you can get a touch on that shot bowl or squeeze the jack around the corner. And Phil's pretty close here.
Looks like he's just going to cut away a little bit too much, but he can turn Taiki out and give him a bit more position to play to. Anything not short was going to be a good result, really.
Yep, very gets a much closer second shot. So John Armand, what's he going to do?
I'd almost run for cover, I think.
Yeah, they're holding one, but as you say, no bowls past the jack.
Oh, that's very, very tight.
Yeah, dropped his shoulder as he let that one go, and so actually, there's speed was pretty good, but just well narrow. So again, Phil will be reaching down there, looking to sit the bowl or to just get a little touch of that jack around the corner. And Teo having a pretty good look at this. It's close. Not quite sure if he's going to have the
I don't
weight.
think he's got the speed this time. Again, you see that real violent hook on that hand.
Another one on the head, but really not played with enough purpose there. And you can see what Teo's got in mind. Playing down that side, he can sit the bowl. If he turns the jack around the corner, they'll have 3, maybe 4 with his bowl.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite got the big shot. I don't think the big shot's on. I think if he hits that short bowl, it's going to lock in place, and he'll probably make himself worse off because John's wing bowl out to the right or left, as we see it now, comes into play again.
Ray had forgotten it was his bowl. I think he was standing on the head.
He was waiting for the fireworks.
waiting for Teo to play his first one and not having realised that they won that last end. So let's see what he does with his first bowl on this 9th of 18 ends. Big bowl for Ray here. Really needs to try and get one behind the jack in case Teo moves it. I don't think he's going to get there.
It's an interesting teaching end, this, actually, for young players, because you're halfway through the game, you're 3 behind, you kind of get that chasing shot mentality, but in reality, this is a defensive end for his Tamaki. If they can put in a good bowl, hang on to the one they've got, okay, they're not going to have the lead, but you're better off to score 1 than try to chase the 4 you need to be in front again, especially when Teo's sort of playing that kind of weight.
Yeah, probably a little bit heavy for that shot. I mean, like Teo commented to Taiki, he knew he'd played it quick. You just won't get the bowl to release on that hand with that weight. So you really only need probably a couple of metres of weight at the most.
Yeah, see, again, I feel like Storm's trying to dead draw the jack here.
What's Ray going to do?
Oh, he's raking it.
Oh. Well, he's made it better in that he's still got the shot and he's actually played Teal's shot. But the danger is
it's given Teo a bit more room now.
And Teo's got a whole bunch of seconds there. So does he play through that bowl of Taiki Paniani looking to either get it onto the shot bowl
I wonder if he could see the jack under Storm's bowl, because if he's tight and pushing Taiki up, it gives him an option as well.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, that's what he's playing.
Definitely playing with weight. And he's on a pretty good line here. Pretty good line here. Look out. Here we go. Oh.
No, that's Phil's bowl, yeah.
Yes,
Second
it
shot
is.
still, yeah.
Yep. So 1 to East Tamaki. Risky, but Ray got away with it, and good on him. Better to be up, and rather than just leaving the shot there.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad bowl. Ray needed something jack high, so taking it with him wasn't the worst result, really.
Completely. So this is interesting. East Tamaki's jack, and Storm's gone long again. In fact, longer than the last end. So whether that's just he's got the mat out at about.
He's playing that 3/4 length. The mat's about halfway again.
Yeah.
Actually, from that angle, it looks like it might even be further up.
But good opener from Storm. So 8-6 to Bridge Park. We've passed halfway in this 18 end Bowls Auckland Centre Triples final, and nothing in it really. Toki Paniani on a pretty good line here. His bowl won't turn as much as the others. And does he get jack? Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's found his line this time. You see the difference. I was about to make comment that Storm's bowl sort of landed about where Taiki's had been landing, so Taiki able to make that correction, find the right line this time.
Storm, he's on a pretty good line too. His bowl will turn a little bit more. Now, will it hold enough?
He looks to be pretty well placed here.
Just light on speed. So 1 to Bridge Park, and plenty of room for a second bowl there.
Jesse doesn't quite like it as well. As much.
Little grimace. He might. Did he get off the second shot? Well, he might count there, but yeah, he'd be disappointed with that. He was a bit wide and a bit heavy. John Almond now didn't come out particularly well.
No.
Out of the gate, and he's actually wide and heavy here.
Yeah, not a very nice delivery from John. He has got quite a nice action. He can get the bowl away very smoothly and accurately.
Yeah, seemed to deliver that one slightly behind his front foot. So Phil Taylor, the backhand jab, and he's on a pretty good line here. His bowl will turn a lot more than Taiki, so here it comes now as the weight comes off. I don't think he's quite going to reach. So still just the 1 to Bridge Park. Ray, John saying, do you want me to change my hand? But Ray saying, no, you can get in there.
That's a confidence move, that one. Didn't like his first shot, so wanted to change something, and I think he's overcorrected here with an aggressive bowl. He's going to get away with it.
Yeah, well, that's a good shot from John. Teal having a look, saying, nope, we're one down to that bowl of Storms, so just beat your last bowl and you'll get shot.
Well, good track again.
Yep, coming down very well here. Just breaking nicely now. Does he hold up?
I don't think so. It'd be very close. Hard to tell from that angle on the camera.
Up and down for shot, I think.
We
John
might get an
Almond.
indication here.
Yep, he's got the finger measure out. I think he thinks he's got the shot. Let's see. Imagine Ray will be on the backhand side. He won't want to turn that bowl of Phil Taylor's up, having a bit of a look from the mat. Okay, where can I get in? Yep, and I think he's going to play backhand. And he's out on that wide side, and as we've seen in this game, very few bowls come back from out there.
Yeah, you get on that chalk line for the boundary of the rink and it just doesn't seem to hook the same way.
Teo will play probably down that same side, because if he can sit that bowl, I didn't like it, but if he can sit that bowl, he makes quite a few, and he's close here.
I think he might be taking out Phil here. Oh no, hooked underneath. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's counting anyway, does it?
That's
right. Got options.
And they've got a toucher in the ditch. Taiki Paniani's first bowl is a toucher in the ditch, so he could elect to play this a bit quicker. Let's see what Ray does here. This is looking a pretty good bowl. Is it gonna? Yes, well played.
That's a well played shot.
That's very well played. So
I don't think he'll be going very quick. He needs to get that little bit of swing, of course, to work off.
yep, Phil Taylor saying, look, come down on that side, sit the bowl, trail the jack. And it's close here. Very close here. Just breaking now. No. Got a lot more turn out of that, but actually his weight was much more draw weight.
Yeah, he probably could have done with another metre or two there on his weight. So was that two?
Just see what the what adjustment we get to the score there. As Storm, again, that 3/4 sort of length that East Tamaki are playing. And it was 1, so it's 8-7 to Bridge Park now after 10 of the 18 ends. And definitely the length is determining this game. East Tamaki going slightly better on the shorter 3/4 ends.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And Bridge Park dominating on the long ends.
Yeah, no, we're definitely seeing those two contrasts in style, and I mean it's reflecting in the scoreboard as well. It's those key shots there by the skips that are turning the heads, and the leads controlling that jack length as well. And you see again Taiki struggling on that short end.
Storm, first time we've seen him play this side of the rink. Played a good one with his first. He's heavy, but that's going to be a handy spot.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that one. It was a bit of a slip out of the hand, but sometimes they're alright when you got the first one there.
Taiki with his second bowl. Definitely got a better line. His bowl won't turn that much. Does he hold for the jack?
Yeah, I think he's going to get unlucky here.
A little slice. We'll call it a toucher, but at the moment still East Tamaki holding shot. That first bowl of Storm.
Yeah, Taiki perhaps quite fortunate the jack didn't actually run on to Storm's bowl. Still left a bit of room for the seconds to draw one in.
Just taking his time. He's definitely got this on a nice line. Has he got the speed? Yes, that'll be 2 shots to East Tamaki. Just pulling up a little short. So Phil Taylor just checking him a 1 or 2 down. If he's 2 down, you'd think he'd play that side anyway, but no, he's opted to play the backhand, so maybe it is only 1. Just reaching through that bowl of Taiki Paniani, but he's going to pull up short, and I think I'm going to call this as 2 to East Tamaki.
Yep, I do tend to agree. As John will just be looking to improve on his last. He only needs a foot or so.
Again, he's on a pretty good line here. Going to hold around Phil Taylor's bowl? No. Just didn't quite have the weight. But still 2 to East Tamaki. And again, I imagine Phil will be just reaching down there, looking to see if he can turn his own bowl over, or sit the bowl or the jack. And he's on again on a pretty good line, if we can just see it there. Just breaking now. He's going to turn his own bowl up, but not
quite.
So still 2 to East Tamaki, and again, Phil will be disappointed. 2 short bowls there, and they're a long way short, really.
It's actually quite tricky, just where Taiki's bowl's sitting. From that angle, it actually looks a bit easier. Just trying to draw around. We know it does turn quite a lot at the end there, but Taiki's bowl's just at that kind of length where it gets in your eye a little bit, especially when you've got that mentality of needing to reach the head.
So can Bridge Park break the cycle and actually win an end on one of these shorter, or 3/4 ends? They're not really short. But Ray will be doing everything in his power to ensure that that doesn't happen. He holds 2. And a chance to add a third shot here. Nice and deliberate. And if he gets that late finish here, he's going to be close.
Yeah, tell you what, he's played this very well.
Yeah, that's a great bowl. Well played. So 3 now to East Tamaki.
I suspect Teo will be trying to follow that one down.
Yeah, this could be a decisive break in this game if East Tamaki can hold on to these shots. Yeah, it's a disappointing bowl from Teo. Yeah, well short. Good line, but well short. So it's wide open for Ray to add another one here. Plenty of room. Don't seem to be entirely happy with it.
No, I think he's pushed this one a bit heavier.
Yeah. Again, the line was pretty good. Just went a little bit too quick.
Oh, that's an absolute pet peeve of mine. when the director stands there and puts his arms out at full wingspan.
Yeah.
I know I'm short. If I'm
Yep.
6 inches short, tell me. If I'm 5 metres short, I can see that. I don't need to know.
Right. Pretty big bowl in the context of this game.
I tell you what, if he can get down and sit that green bowl,
Oh, he's heavy. He's going to get the edge, and that's 3 to East
be
Tamaki.
3.
And that's East Tamaki regaining the lead. 10-8 now after 11 of the 18 ends.
I mean, it's not the first 3 we've seen, but it is the first multiple for East Tamaki.
And Storm brings that mat up.
He's right up this. Well, not right up, but he's
That's
well
it.
over halfway.
Yeah, about 6 metres, I think. And so that'll be effectively a 3/4 end. Jack's spotted on that 2 metre mark. And is this the big momentum shift? With East Tamaki playing this preferred 3/4 length that they've been using.
He's coming around nicely.
Yeah, it's a good start-up.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start. Be fairly safe in saying it's the shortest end we've played so far.
Indeed. A little grimace from Taiki, but his bowl does hold its line a little better. Is it going to hold for the jack here? No, slipping by. Heavy. So 1 to East Tamaki. Storm's been a little inclined to be short with the second bowl, so let's see if he can add this one. It's on a better line. He's played this well.
He's got this really well. Ooh, just lucky
gonna
not to
swap.
grab it, really.
Yeah, well, a good home there. See Taiki's bowl at the lower part of your screen. So 2 to East Tamaki, plenty of room. But players have struggled to get to the jack on this rink. Taiki's taken a bit more green this time, and this was pretty close. Yep, that'll be the shot.
Yeah, it's a good correction.
Yep, well played.
And we spoke at the top of the broadcast about this being the first centre title opportunity for the year's Tamaki boys. Just the one centre title for Tio and Phil. You sort of expect they'd have a few more, but constant performers just not able to break that drought. So someone will correct me because I'm going to be wrong, but I want to say they won the Champ triples. I know it was definitely Champ triples.
Yep.
I want to say it was 17-18. It might have been a little bit later than that.
Okay.
Taiki obviously wasn't part of that side. He was still over in Rarotonga. He's only come over in the last 2 or 3 years, I want to say. So he's yet to win a centre title in Auckland as well.
Close here from Phil Taylor. That's 2 shots now to, I think, to Bridge Park. Yes, you'd expect them to have won a bit more, but then when you've got people in the Bowls Auckland catchment like Mike Galloway and Jamie Hill,
Grantham and
Tony Grantham,
and Gary when he comes up and plays as well,
Yep.
Jordan King, Chris Lowe, plenty of national title holders. There's so many powerhouses around. It's
and great to see Chris Lowe playing yesterday. John Armand just sliding by the jack here. Very decorated skip when he was playing out of the Hillsborough club, and then also the Mangere Marcos briefly.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him on the scene the last 2 or 3 seasons, but he was in great form yesterday in the Peers final. Those people who missed it, Jordan King and Chris Lowe, were successful over Gary Lawson and Tony Grantham. So Phil Taylor draws the shot there, but unfortunately in the process drags the jack away from their closest 2 bowls. So instead of holding 2, they only have 1, but obviously it's a bit closer. So Storm's bowl just directly behind the jack at the bottom of your screen, and Taiki Paniani with his first bowl there. So what will Ray do here, Brendan?
Wow, I guess probably that backhand side. They're just going to try and find that line. If he gets a piece of the jack, it's going to go to Storm's bowl there. Come in and draw the shot himself. Certainly wants to be reaching, I think. Needs to continue that positive play.
He's played some very good bowls under pressure. And he's on a good line here.
I'll tell you what, this isn't too far away if it starts working.
Just a little bit quick. Weight-wise.
Yeah, I think his line was very good.
Yep. Ends up in the ditch, so yeah, probably just a metre or 2 over weight-wise. As we've commented, you've got to play with reasonably precise weight on that hand, otherwise they will just hold.
Yeah, just that little bit extra weight, and it doesn't seem to be coming back. And I guess Tio's now just in that defensive kind of draw. If he can sit the second shot and make 2 of it, it's a good result. Yep. Otherwise, he's just playing that cover.
Coming now.
He's probably a bit higher than he wanted to be fair.
Follows it up. So yeah, good weight, but just caught on that wide side. John Armand saying, look, I think you should change your hand, Ray. Come down there and probably more. Well, I don't know if there's more percentages. I mean,
I'm sitting here kind of questioning it, but I'm glad to be proven wrong.
Well, it's a better hand, and he did play a really good bowl on that hand a few ends ago when you called that shot. So he should know where that line is.
I'll tell you what,
he's close here. He's close. He's got it all away.
Oh, he's got the jack though. Doesn't Taiki have the back bowl?
Well,
no, John's got one back there as well.
He's buried it. So,
and he's sitting on the rink marker there. That could be 2 shots.
They could be 2 shots. It could even be 3 with that bowl of Storm. So Phil's having a good look here. So,
and I think is that a toucher in the ditch of Storm out the side?
I think so. Oh no, Storm's got the green bowl.
Yeah, but over here.
Yeah, it could be. That could be.
Or is that Phil's bowl?
That might be Phil's shot bowl. That because he trailed the jack with his second bowl.
Yes,
so,
yeah, correct. Yeah.
So I think that's 2 to looking at that angle. It's 2 to East Tamaki. So another great bowl from Ray under pressure.
And that looks heavy from Taiki. Not Taiki, Tio.
Teo, yeah, it's
Yep.
just going to run in. Two it is.
So it is.
So two it is to East Tamaki. And they're out now to 12-8 after 12 of our 18 ends.
You see the march back
Yep.
up the green again.
Out it goes.
Certainly playing those short ends well. Bridge, East Tamaki. God, I'm losing it.
I'm just going to pop out and have a look at the score in the women's game, and I'll be back in a sec.
I did just see it was 14-6. Linda's on a bit of a run. And we saw it in the background there of that last end. One of our ITOs in Auckland, Gerard Holst, down on his knees measuring a very tight shot from what it saw. So Storm now on his forehand side, which is a change of hand for him, I think. I'm pretty confident he's been playing the other hand more recently, going this way. And he's just let that one run through a little bit. It's given Taiki an opportunity. Tell you what, he's played a good line here, and the speed looks to be good as well. Oh, get the chalk out, boys. Fall over. Not quite. But a great opening bowl from Taiki. It's what Bridge Park needed. Shift that momentum back in their favour. They've 4 behind, 5 to play. Still a very manageable and achievable result. That's a great bowl from Storm. Hasn't tried to overplay it. See the biscuit tin being passed around in the background. Yeah, another pretty good bowl here from Taiki as well. If he can get down onto his own. Oh, if he doesn't want the jack though, he's going a little bit. No, that's an alright result. Left a nice port there on the forehand for Phil Taylor to draw in. Get down to the opposition bowl. I think John Armand perhaps suggesting he play that same shot. Oh no, he is going to go in his forehand. And again, a pretty good line. He's just overplayed his weight here. He's given his team another very good positional bowl. And then we see the call from Tio to get Phil through that port.
15-6 now to Linda Ralph in the women's final, and she's playing some pretty tidy bowls. So all of the heads are close. So
yeah, well, if I remember rightly, we reported it being 6-7 not too long ago. So Linda getting a bit of a run at the moment.
And she's such a momentum player, Linda. When she really hits her rhythm, she's very hard to head off. Looks like she's holding one at the moment. So John Almond having a run here. Doesn't want to get his own bowl. He gets his own bowl, and now they're 2 down.
Yes, well, it was an interesting shot to play, really, considering they had back bowl. I know they had back bowls, but I think just that trail to their own was probably a higher percentage shot than trying to play the shot bowl on to the kitty.
Yeah, I agree with that, Brendan. I think at 12-8, you don't need to be doing anything too reckless. You know, you're leading. You don't want to give Bridge Park room because you know these guys can draw. Does Phil Taylor take advantage of it?
It's a pretty good position to finish in, really.
Yep, he definitely had to be past the jack. So 2 at the moment to Bridge Park. We can see Ray having a good look at this, and obviously they're still intending to attack, and good on them. You know, they've played very positively through this game. Ray's played some good attacking bowls. Just wants to be careful not to get their own bowl there. They're 2 down. If they get that bowl just immediately, I guess at 6 o'clock past the jack. That would make it 3 to Bridge Park and bring them right back into it. So let's see what Ray does here with this first bowl. It's like he's going to play the backhand, which is probably this.
No, he's on his forehand there.
Oh, no, you're right. Okay, well, fortune favours the brave. Let's see what he does. He's running. Only gets one out.
Gets
That's
one.
a good bowl. Good percentage shot. Played it on the tight side, which he needed to be, staying away from his closest bowl. So 1 to Bridge Park. Plenty of room there for Teal, but as we know, this rink isn't the easiest rink to add on. And Teal just having a bit of just lining up one of the bowls that was moved. It's out, so he's playing, I think, on the forehand side.
Looks a bit quick.
It was very quick. Oh, well,
found the ledge.
perhaps trying to cover the back. Shall we be kind?
It's an interesting shot choice now. You sort of back yourself to go again and give Teo a lot of room to draw the shot, or you play a nice little trail and try to make two. He's running again.
Yep. Just going to slip past. Yeah, well, no damage. Left his closest bowl there, so 1 to Bridge Park. So 12-9 technically, with a bowl to come. So Teo can make this 12-10 if he can add another shot. He had good line with his first bowl when he went to the back. So let's see if he can add another shot here. He's close. Very close. Is he going to hold? Yes, he will. That's 2 to Bridge Park. So good time to be scoring. End 13 of the 18 ends.
Yeah, look at where that mat's gone.
12-10 now. Can Taiki keep the jack up? Because that was a big momentum change when he lost the jack earlier in the game, when they'd scored consecutive threes on these ends. I think he's in the ditch again.
Looks like he is. That's
Yep.
going back.
Yep. No, not such an important part of the game. You know, we often say, you know, for the lead, the jack is like a third bowl, but because it gives you the ability to call the tune.
I actually wonder if that one's far enough up.
He's out at 6 metres again.
Oh, you know, it'll be alright.
Yep.
It rolled out.
Right.
Yeah, I think scoring 2 there for Bridge Park was definitely a win. East Tamaki gave them that opportunity and they took it. But then for Taiki to give the jack away like that, it sort of takes away from that little minor victory. But he's started well here on the short end. We know he's not played them particularly as well.
Yeah, that's probably one of his better efforts at this length. So, 2 the difference. 4 ends to go. And Storm just going a little bit wide there. He'll get a bit of late finish, so I'd call that 1 to Bridge Park, but plenty of room.
Yep, I'd tend to agree.
$16-6 now to Linda and the women's singles final.
Yeah, I see her still sitting on the jack as well, but
So
looked as though there was a bit of action going on in the background there. Bit of a weighted shot.
2 good bowls from Taiki there. So Bridge Park holding 2, but plenty of room. Certainly, by the way, East Tamaki have been playing to date, and Storm's on a pretty good line here.
Yeah, he's corrected very well.
Played this very well. Yeah, it's a great bowl, and recognised as such by the crowd.
And those are the sorts of bowls that have allowed John Armand at number 2 to play with a lot of confidence and draw into the head. And it equally puts quite a bit of pressure on Phil from Bridge Park.
Just going to slide by Phil Taylor. That's a pretty good bowl there. Just slides by. The closest second. John Armand, probably the only player that's really played this side of the rink in this direction, and he's drawn some pretty good shots down here. And again, he's on a pretty good line here. You'll see a little bit of late finish. Here it comes. Just trying to cover those bowls. That's a pretty good bowl there. In amongst the Bridge Park bowls.
Yeah, not too much wrong with that. Probably a little bit heavier than he was perhaps wanting it to be, but it's finished in a pretty handy spot. It looks as though Phil's pushed this one out a bit too high.
Yep. Yeah, we're just going to end up through the head. So 1 to East Tamaki and John Armour with about a metre either side of the jack to add another shot. A little bit wider, but we'll see the weight start to come off now. Does he get in for another shot? No,
he's a bit too far out there, I think.
Yep.
A good opportunity if Teo can get a bit of jack movement, but East Tamaki, sorry, I'm losing it. East Tamaki have got both sides of the rink covered there with John on the right of screen as we see and Storm on the left.
Yeah, I think the best thing Teo can do here is draw a shot.
Yep.
There's still plenty of room, and we know he's a very accomplished draw player.
No.
Starting to turn now, but he's just got that sort of probing weight again rather than just dead drawing. So a good second. Get some applause from Phil.
I don't think it's as bad as he made it out to be.
No.
He wasn't ridiculously heavy there. He was the kind of weight that he just turned the bowl out once.
Ray on his forehand. Yeah, it's on a pretty good line for his bowl. Just a bit quick, I think. Yeah, fair effort. And covers that trail somewhat. Let's see, I think Teo will just be trying to draw this.
Well, he's gone a lot wider. I'd argue he's overcorrected there.
Coming now, but it just won't break back off that line.
Especially for Teo, because he's playing across the far side of the mat. He's trying to cut that angle down. He's used his feet probably to his disadvantage there.
So John Harmon just saying to Ray, look, you've got room in there. Try and draw down there. See if you can just add another shot. Every bonus bowl's going to be pretty critical from here on in.
Yeah, definitely. Another 2 here extends their lead out.
Just going to be on the high side again. Trying not to be short and just giving it a little bit of a push as you let it go. So 1 it is to East Tamaki. Ray, John and Storm now out to 13-10 after 15 of the 18 ends in this Bowls Auckland Centre Triples final. And once again, the mat's out at about 6 metres.
Starting the 15th end now, aren't we?
Here we are.
Yeah.
So I say after 15,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Then after 14.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. One thing I have noticed is particularly playing away from the clubhouse, Storm's been changing his hand a lot.
He's done it pretty effectively here.
Yeah,
That's a good opener.
Seems to be working for him. He's played it very well this time.
Yep, that's a great opener. And
I think he's going to hit this. If you're going to do it, you do it now and then give yourself a chance to draw with the second one.
no, just drawing. Looked for all intents and purposes like he wanted to.
I'll tell you what though, he's put it in a pretty good spot.
Yep. Yeah, good catcher there.
I wouldn't be upset if I was skipping if he wanted to have a go at that, knowing that he is, primarily a back-end player.
Yep. Storm now. Looking to add another one. He's out on another good line. It'll be pretty close here.
I think.
Yeah, I'm going to call that 2. I think that's probably 2 shots.
It's the sort of shot, if he was to drive it, it's a very big psychological win for Bridge Park if he hits it, but equally it's quite a psychological loss if he was to miss.
I see the CEO of Auckland, of Bowls Auckland, in the background, intently watching Dean, and there he is, along with the chairman Ian D, intently watching the Carlton Cornwall women's centre singles final between sisters Linda Ralph and Estelle Hickey. Linda Ralph leading that game, while back here it's East Tamaki with their nose in front over Bridge Park.
Yeah, and we've pulled all the big wigs out this morning. We've got Centre President Graham Scott marking that final, and Vice President Helen Blick was here this morning with her services marking as well.
Great to see. So good bowl there from John Almond, just covering the 2 bowls of Taiki Paniani, the Bridge Park lead. East Tamaki holding 2 here, and I think Phil Taylor will be on his back end. Yes, he is. Looking to try and get one close on that other side.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing anything big from Phil, but if he can definitely get onto that shot bowl, turn it out, the jack will run through. Sort of playing with that kind of weight to disturb the head.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that in between, that sort of weight gets you. I would have thought you're either drawing or you're going quick. It's not an easy rink to play those in between shots,
and especially not on that hand going away from the clubhouse where it does drop away as the weight comes off.
John Armand changing his hand and drawing down the side, and he's played a screamer
if he sits
here.
That's a screamer. That's a great shot. Now you've really got to hit it.
Yep, TL saying don't muck around, hit it. So this is looking like a pretty critical end, and Phil Taylor, he's well astray with that one. So 3 to East Tamaki. We're playing end 15, 13-10. Still a few ends to go, but again another 3 here to East Tamaki would be would start to make that gap just that little bit harder to rein in.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that Tio will be looking to kill this, but I think equally he needs to be careful that he doesn't drop. Oh yeah, he probably is 3 down already, isn't he? So he needs to be very considerate of the fact that if he misses twice and drops a 5, it could be game over.
Little fist pump from John Armand and Storm there. Obviously pretty pleased with their work. You know, if I was Ray, I wouldn't be getting too close to this. I think he definitely doesn't want to create a target for Tio, who's so accurate on the drive.
You know, I think matching John's previous bowl would be perfect.
I agree. Definitely don't want to be short of the jack, and he's not.
He's played this very well. Sit it down.
It's going to slide by, but that's a good home there. If there is contact on the jack, they've now got the backest.
And it appears, at least from this camera angle, that if Tio does hit it, the jack's going to probably bounce off John's bowl and kill. It's not like it's going to go back into the ditch. I'd be very surprised if it went through to the ditch.
Yeah, it would only be if he got the thin edge of the shot bowl, and maybe the jack might
doesn't move at all.
Yeah. Or bounce around a bit. But let's see.
He's going to try and draw one first. It's sensible.
Yeah, well, 3 down. It's a very narrow target. He's close here. He's very close here. Oh, just slides by.
And still 3 down.
Yep. Yeah, that's
the danger in playing that kind of shot is you get too close, and then it kind of takes away the drive. At which point you take your medicine and go 1 down. But
So Ray, again on his forehand. Very deliberate. I think he's played this well. Has he got the speed?
I think he's got enough to count. He's only got to beat the outside wing bowl, remember?
Yep. Yeah,
Well,
I think that's probably 4.
this is going to be a telling shot. Phil just calling for the draw.
Yep.
Kind of feel like the game's on the line here at this point.
Yep. I think this bowl keeps Bridge Park in it. I think anything other than first or second shot is a pretty significant gain for East Tamaki.
Oh, I'd be very surprised if he drew first shot. But
He's got weight on. He's got weight on here.
It's looking like a 4.
Yep. I think that's 4, and I think, yep, 4
Yep.
it is. And I think, as close as that was, I mean, it was heavy
Mm.
and it was narrow. It wasn't really a draw.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure with that weight, you would have had to have got the shot bowl perfectly to sit and stay with that weight. And I think just throwing some things around here in the commentary position, things get a little bit excited.
Sarah's getting frustrated at the equipment.
Yep.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right, Brett. It really sums up this kind of rink as well. You sort of had to either draw second shot there or hit it, and hit it hard. Playing that perfect weight shot to manipulate the head is very difficult on this particular rink.
So it's 17-10 now to East Tamaki. We'll just update that score now. This is the third to last end 16 of 18.
And again, Storm off to a pretty handy start.
Yeah, look, he's been very steady. He's laid the foundation for this East Tamaki side, and are they on the edge of winning their first centre title, which would be a great accomplishment for a club that's really, as you said earlier in the commentary, on the rebound.
Oh, it'll be huge for the club. Equally, it'll be huge for Bridge Park as well. But I think for a club that's just come off celebrating their 75th year and doing really well, getting a lot of participation in centre events at the moment, and a lot of younger guys coming through. There's some guys from Howick that have come up and joined at East Tamaki as well, just to help out with the numbers, getting their presence out there on the green, and I think it's going to be great for such a small little club.
So Storm staying on the forehand, but he's gone underneath this time, but he's got pretty good weight, so he's going to finish in a good spot. It's a couple of shots to East Tamaki, not close, but as we've seen in this game so far, you don't have to get him that close.
No, there's been a few ends there where it hasn't necessarily been shots on the jack that have scored. Quite a contrast to our women's singles final where they were drawing on a dime. And I guess that is the difference in singles and triples as well. You can get away with a little bit more in a triples match.
So Taiki just gets his bowl. I'm not sure that will have changed things. No, I think it's still East Tamaki holding. 2 to Linda Ralph in the singles next door. Helen Blick, the
Official scorekeeper.
yes. So 19-7 now to Linda Ralph, looking like she's gonna triumph in that singles game over her sister as John Almond just sails through that gap. It's a good catcher there for East Tamaki. And Teo Turu says to Phil Taylor, follow that last bowl down, try and come through that gap. Draw a shot, and he's on a pretty good line here.
Yeah, it's a great shot there. My laptop died a little while ago, but I'm pretty sure when I had the records up, I believe Linda's on 13 centre titles, and I think she's won this event 3 or 4 times in those titles. So
Definitely one of the best singles players in New Zealand. She is just so consistent. Not a particularly flashy player, though she can play some very good shots. Just tends to play on the draw or slightly over. Really high percentages.
yeah,
And here's a good bowl from John Almond.
yeah, it's a great reply.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
It's unlucky there.
Yeah, unlucky not to get the shot. And it's 1 at the moment to Bridge Park. And Teo saying to Phil, come on, up there again. You can sit the second shot bowl, and he's on a good line for it. Is he going to get the turn? He's coming now. Well, gives Teo something to play to there.
Mm.
One at the moment to Bridge Park, trailing 17-10. And I imagine Ray will be on the other hand, looking to see if he can just sort of come down and get a touch on that jack around the corner.
Yeah, I agree. It gives Teo the confidence now to reach up, try and sit John's bowl through. If he gets the outside bowl of Phil's, it puts it in a good position. Equally for Ray, if he plays a really good shot on the forehand and is unfortunate enough to tap the jack, it's not going to be the end of the world.
Yep, I think forehand it is. Just waiting for Estelle Hickey to play her second bowl on this end. Don't know if it's going to quite pull from there.
He had a good line. I think he's just a bit too heavy.
Yep.
Just didn't give it the chance to turn.
Sits on John Almond's first bowl there. So one at the moment to Bridge Park. Teo Tura.
You see, Teo's really played this hand quite a bit tight. You watch when he lets his bowl go. He's letting it go on the opposite side of the centre line. He's played this really well.
That's a great bowl. That's very good. That's 2 to Bridge Park.
Just a bit unfortunate that Phil's second or third shot, as it was, slipped out the other way. Nothing changes really for Storm, though.
No.
Not Storm. Ray.
Yeah, we may see Teo swap over and look to try and reach that bowl or draw another shot on the other hand, but let's see what Ray does first.
Oh, he's changed his hand. That's interesting.
Yeah, John Armand changed in there, and I'm not really sure why, because I think the other hand, perhaps he felt there was some percentages running into those bowls, but he played a pretty good bowl with his first bowl on that other hand. So now what does Teo do?
I think we see Teo change hands here.
I would think so. I would think...
they need the numbers. That's the easiest way to get them.
So let's have a look and see what Teo does here. Yep, he's close here. Close here. Is he going to turn? No, he's not. So it's 2 to Bridge Park. That brings him back into the game at 17-12. We've got 2 ends to go. And let's see how Taiki goes with the jack this time, Brendan.
Yeah, well, he's certainly been wanting to throw that 2 to 2 metre length. And you'll see he'll put this down on the tee, or the back of the tee, sorry, I should say.
He's taking his time a little bit this time.
Yeah, I think he knows he needs to keep this one in play.
This is really critical for them. If they're going to get back in this game, they've got to change the length. They've got to throw Storm off. A little grimace from Taiki as he delivered the jack. Let's see what he's done.
Probably not as far as he would have wanted it, but
No.
could still be enough having that mat back that it changes it up.
It's definitely a longer length.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely a longer length.
So let's see what Taiki's going to install here. He's played this pretty well.
Coming around nicely. That's a pretty handy start.
Yep. Storm just been a picture of consistency in this final. Just had a couple of loose ends on the longer ends. And again, he's pretty close here. He's just going to end up being a bit unlucky on the outside of that bowl of Taiki's, but it's handy. It's a good startup. At this stage, second shot's pretty critical.
Oh yeah, I think for East Tamaki at this point, it really is just about minimising the damage realistically. Bridge Park are looking for a couple of threes here.
Tyke would be pretty disappointed with that. Yeah, it's a better line for Storm's bowl.
Yeah,
And
looks
he's
to
played
have
this
the
pretty
weight.
good.
Yeah, he's played a good shot here.
Yeah, well played. Yep. Generous applause from the crowd. They recognise that's a pretty important bowl in the context of this game. Tio just saying, look, just get me some bowls on the head.
I don't think he's got the speed.
It's disappointing.
It's not terrible, but definitely would have wanted that bowl being level to high.
It's hard to make them count when they're in front.
Yeah, very difficult.
John Arman played pretty consistently through the game. He's on a good line here. Not quite sure he's going to have the weight. He get
Well, he
underneath that
needs
bowl
to miss
full
Phil's
times?
bowl.
Well,
I don't think he's done any damage.
no. I think we might see Phil Taylor change now and look to sit the shot bowl. Yep. Tio says, come over here. Sort of raid down there and see if you can turn your bowl over or get the shot bowl. And he's on a good line. Close here.
He's looking like he's going to get his own. Could get them both.
Well, he's probably a bit stiff there, to be honest. I think East Tamaki probably still got one.
Yeah, John changing hands on that forehand side. Again, I think just trying to look for jack high bowls at this point, not trying to drastically change the head, just create opportunities for both the skips to score.
Played this pretty well. It's just breaking in there now. Just going to sail through, but look, that's a pretty good bowl there. It's the Bacchus bowl. So any jack movement, they've got the back covered.
Just looking at Tio's options, there's actually not too many. It's pretty unlikely he'd get on the outside edge of Phil's bowl and sit Storms on that backhand. You can't quite see his Tio's in the way there, but you can see he's got that darker green bowl. He could sit that out for three, but it's a difficult shot without getting a piece of Phil's.
I agree.
Bit of kitty movement on that backhand might work in their favour, but nothing sort of clear cut. Everything needs an element of luck.
Is he going to pull?
Oh, he's looking for that outside green. He's just going to find the hole.
Yeah, so looking for the bowl clean. Again, I just think a little bit too quick, Brendan. You're just not going to get. I mean, look, he was close.
He was very close.
But you just don't get the pull with that sort of weight. And, he wants, second prize for him is getting onto Phil's bowl, onto the jack, potentially making two. With that weight onto the jack, it's going to spray it back to the back bowl of John Almond. So, be interesting to see what Ray plays here. Imagine he'll stay on that forehand side and just try and get another bowl close.
Yeah, I think if I was Tio, I'd be considering my options about a kill here. It's definitely on. We'll see what Ray puts in. Yeah, a bit of a nothing bowl, really.
Yeah, and if anything, gives Tio a feather off on that side now.
Well, I mean, if we can get that overhead shot, if Phil's not going to stand in our way, there's a good chance he can actually drive his own bowl and get onto the kitty.
If Teal played that same bowl he played with his first, he'd be coming off that green bowl onto the shot bowl.
And I mean, and again, if he gets his own bowl very square, there's a good chance he can cannon storms out of the head and stay there for 2 or 3. Although that would require a bit more of a precise weight rather than the full smack. But because, to be honest, I don't think one's enough.
I agree. You know, they've got to be making 2 or 3 here.
There we go, that angle there. If he gets on the inside edge of Phil's bowl, he can cannon out storms, potentially get the jack on the way through, gives him options. If he takes the kitty back, he's got one. It's not the end of the world.
And of course, remembering Ray's still got another bowl to come.
Yeah, he's certainly playing that weighted shot.
Teal, he's
not
tight.
far away. No, he's got this. No. What's he done?
Well,
I don't think he's moved the shot bowl.
no. Looks like they think it's a measure between those 2 bowls. So maybe just the angle's a little bit deceiving there. Look, for all money from here, it looks like Storm's got the shot. So that's interesting. So John's saying don't play it. I think we've got the shot. And of course, if they have, that makes it very difficult. One it is. Yep, good eyes, John Armand. So 6 the difference now. We're playing the last 10, so Bridge Park would need the maximum to get there, and I think you called it, Brendan. It was really critical that Bridge Park got a number there, got a multiple.
Yeah, definitely. And to be fair, even if they were to lose that measure, it wouldn't have been the end of the world.
So are we about to see the maiden centre titles for Storm, John and Ray?
It's certainly looking that way. It's a bit of a victory lap here, to be honest. Just keep him on the rink and...
it's not impossible to get 6 on the last end.
It's certainly been done a few times before.
It has, but with the way the East Tamaki team have been playing, and there's Storm again, just nice and consistent, nice and accurate with that first bowl. You know, calling the tune for his side. But let's see.
It's interesting. I'll never forget when I was Taranaki Open a couple of years ago, and I had won my semi-final, and I was watching Hamish Kape and Daryl Reid and Aidan play Peter Ballas, and they were 5 or 6 behind, second to last end, and Daryl was leading and played useless bowls, and Kalen kind of just drew to where Daryl's bowls were, and
then the jack got moved.
Yeah, the jack got moved, and afterwards, Daryl sort of said to me, he said, well, you know, I wasn't trying too hard to draw the shot, because you're not going to score 6 if you put one right next to the kitty.
Interesting.
You know, so they'd deliberately gone into the tactic of we're just going to put 6 bowls behind the jack and trust that Hamish could move them, and they did. A little bit different, obviously, in triples. You haven't got the extra 2 bowls to flirt with, but it's interesting how they sort of decided they were going to score 6 that end and how they approached it. It was very different to what most people would think.
Yeah, and a very surprising result against someone like Peter Ballas. Peter had a couple of niggles, I think, at it.
Of all people, you'd expect to get something.
Yep. Yeah. Well, here's 2 of the 6 so far to Bridge Park. So John Almond, something over the forehand. He hasn't played a lot of bowls on this hand, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Didn't get that away as smoothly as he might have liked, but he's on a pretty good line here. And that's going to be very close to being the shot.
That's a great
That
bowl.
is a shot. Well played, John Armand.
Yeah.
You have to say they've probably been just the steadier of the teams, in which is, I guess, reflected in the score. Just tended to be in and around the head a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the jack control has been the big thing. You know, I don't think Taiki's thrown a jack where he's wanted it the whole game.
No.
And Storm's definitely capitalised, probably out-leading Taiki, I would say, probably on 80% of the ends at that shorter length.
And I think that's pretty much it. Phil Taylor wide and heavy with that first bowl of his, so now it makes it pretty difficult. John Armand looks like he's going to the back.
Yeah, well, I was just about to pay John a favour and compliment him. But I was just about to say he's played very well when Storm's been on. He's complimented him nicely, but that one a bit of a loose nut.
Yep. Yep. A little bit of banter between the two. Phil, I think, saying, "Look, do I try and kill it, and so we can start again?"
Yeah, well, that's the risk when you make that call, especially when you so early on in the end, because now they can't score a 6. Now they have to commit to that.
Yep. Yep. Swing and a miss. So, unless Bridge Park can kill this end, we're going to be celebrating a first centre title for Storm, John, and Ray.
Yeah, and I mean these boys are also in the centre fours, which is to be played a little bit later on in the year, just due to some scheduling conflicts of all the other players in the finals. So I'm pretty sure it's the 3 of these boys and Brian Chapman. There could be a slight difference in personnel somewhere along the lines, but performing really well now at centre level. Another opportunity in the semi-finals of the centre fours. They played 22nd of June, I think. Just
Okay.
a bit of a push out with everybody being so busy with Chamber Champs and different other things on.
So Ray here just really wants to stay away from it. Do you not want to make it more of a target for Teo than it is?
Yeah, well,
Try and kill it.
To be fair, with Phil's bowl off the rink, it doesn't really matter where he puts it.
Close here. He's got it.
Oh, what a shot.
That's a great drive. Well played, Teo Turu. So,
No, they're going to play the other way. Interesting. I'd have made them carry them all back.
you always wear a meanie.
Oh, I'm a bully.
So let's
Game psychology is important.
So again, Storm's out to 6 metres with the mat. Their favoured length, which I've played very well, I have to say, through this final.
The tight measure down there. Umpire involved in the women's singles. Oh, shake hands time too.
Yep. So that's Linda Ralph, the winner of the Auckland women's centre singles.
And we have had the cameras on there recording some highlights, so we will post a highlight package either later on today or early next week of some of the highlights of that women's final.
Storm over with his first, and Taiki Paniani doesn't need a second invitation. Draws a reasonably handy first bowl, so closer this time, I think, from Storm. Again on a pretty good line, and I think this is very close.
Yeah,
That's a very
great
good
shot.
bowl. What a good bowl.
And a toucher just makes all the much. Oh, not quite a toucher. Had he got the touch there, it would have really forced the kill. You can see Taiki wants to hit it. But I think he's still got the option there just to sit it through and build a head. I mean, if he drives and misses, they're committed to hitting it. They're using the next 5 bowls to kill it again.
I think Taiki's saying, look, do you want me to just see if I can sit it? No, I think we're driving.
We're driving. That's not. Oh, I was going to say way off target, but it actually pulled around quite nicely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just in terms of conditions of play as well, there's 11 minutes left on the clock. But if it's a regulation end, you can continue to kill it over and over again. If it's an extra end after the time limit, it does get respotted. So unlikely, I would think, at this point we're going to see an extra end, unless Bridge Park can pull off that 6. But
And quite a good bowl from John Armand then, probably second shot. Definitely another bowl on the head. Close here.
Phil Taylor.
Phil Taylor, you got the jack? No, he's got the bowl. How often do you see that when you are looking for the jack and, you get the bowl instead? So,
Had he wanted to get the bowl off clean, he couldn't have done it.
yep. So John Armand Again, looks to see if he can put it back. And I tell you what, he's mighty
He's
close.
played a very good bowl here.
Mighty close here.
Oh, that's a great shot from John
Well
Armand.
played. Well played.
And it actually makes it very, very hard to kill that now. Because he's put it behind Taiki's short bowl as well.
So Phil Taylor on the drive again. Oh, he's wide. Yeah, that won't trouble the scorers. So really from here, I think if I was Ray, I'd be blocking.
Well, I mean, yeah, they've already got a good block in, coincidentally.
Yeah,
But
he's got the back covered.
Very-
He's holding 2 shots, so I would just say try and get something just in the way. See if you can...
very classy bowl there from John Armand to finish his, potentially finish his game. He's played very well in the middle.
So what does Ray do? No, just looking to add another shot.
Yeah, I think if you were going to add another shot, you're safer doing it on the backhand. You don't want to create a wing bowl for Teo to use, but at least he is high. Oh, it's... Well, he gives himself a chance now, doesn't he?
He does. Yes, they don't have a bowl on the rink, so it's Kel or it's all over. Ray having a little bit of a laugh. And again, I think he's just going to be trying to draw.
He's trying to play a block here.
I wouldn't get too close. Oh, he's played this pretty well,
Tell
actually.
you what, he's played this really
He's played
well.
this pretty well. Oh, good bowl. Very good bowl.
You can still see it, but that's a pretty good effort. Oh, he's got it.
Yes, another kill. Well, they hang in there, do Bridge Park. So well played, Teo Turu. Makes you wonder whether maybe he should have been driving a little bit earlier, Brendan, instead of playing those in-between weight shots. He's such a good practitioner.
Again, I'd make them carry them all back. East Tamaki have got this win in the bag. If Bridge Park just want to keep killing it, I'd make them carry the bowls back.
Right. Well, this is interesting. They've gone a bit longer this time. So whether that's... Oh, I guess the mat's still up at about 6 metres, so it's probably about the same.
Yeah, and I guess the good thing about this length too is that with the jack being on the 2 metre mark, it does theoretically make it harder to kill.
Indeed.
The jack has sort of been sitting at sort of 4 to 6 metres up the rink in the last couple of ends.
And again, good tidy weight from Storm. He'd be a little bit disappointed to miss his line, but it's there and thereabouts.
I just feel sorry for Alex. He loves his little kill graphic, and he's not been here today, and we've had 2 in a row.
Yep, we could have had the ugly man. Or is it a man? Is it a man, or is it without gender?
Gender neutral jack.
Right, Storm with his second bowl. And much better line this time. Has he got the weight? No. So, is the door slightly ajar, as improbable as it might seem, for Bridge Park?
Look, it all just comes down to positioning, right? You've just got to get them all jack high and on the rink, and what will be will be.
Well, I'm going to call this as another shot.
Yeah.
So that's 2.
Yeah, I think if you're East Tamaki, there's an opportunity here to kind of play a good arriving weight, sit the bowl, trail the kitty.
Yep.
You don't have to be too precise. I think that's the intent that he's going for. If he can sit one of those bowls in the ditch, it puts them back on the kill.
Well played.
Yep.
Well played.
Great shot.
Yep. Yeah, just, good confident draw up there. And Phil Taylor Have to be drawing down there looking for the jack.
Suggests he might have stayed on the back then.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the intention of that bowl was. Bit of a nothing bowl, really, unless they were just
Yeah.
trying to add another back bowl and then play the jack back.
I mean, I'm making the assumption without being able to see the back of the ditch that Toki's bowl is still on. Oh yeah, I can see on the other screen. It's on the back of the screen there.
Well, John
Oh, well,
Almond
that's it now. It's
yep,
gone.
just played Phil Taylor's bowl in.
Back to the kilt.
I don't think he would have been trying to do that. I think that he was just heavy and just got the right contact, but
Happy
they'll
accident.
take it.
Yep. Yeah, this one's coming down with a bit of speed.
He's just going to miss it. Good effort.
Fair effort.
Right, well, what does Ray do this time?
Let's see if Tio can go 3 for 3.
Does Ray block it?
The Bridge Park boys certainly making his Tamaki work for it.
They sure are. So, what does Ray do here? Just something short in the way?
Yeah, I think on the centre line is probably your best. Anything short on the centre line is probably going to be a good option.
Plenty of smiles. The game's been played in good spirit. You know, two pretty friendly sides, and I'm not sure this
It's
is.
probably not where you wanted to put it. Well, actually, it's far enough away that
Yep.
it wouldn't necessarily get onto the jack. He's pulled this one.
Well,
Again, gives himself a chance. Opens it up.
sure does. Ray just sharing a little aside with Tio as he plays what he'll be hoping is the last bowl for him of this final, unless Tio can kill it again.
I think he was hoping that about 6 bowls ago.
And I'll tell you what, he's pretty close again here. Just going to slide through, but that'll actually be the shot. A little clap from John Almond. Right, what can Tio do this? Oh no, from Storm, shall I say?
No, it's it.
Tio's missed, and that's it all over. So, what a magnificent performance by this East Tamaki triple. Their first centre titles for
Yep.
Storm, John and Ray. Upsetting what would have been... and you can see the joy in their faces and as Storm and John embrace. I mean, you would have expected on paper the Bridge Park team definitely will perform. 2 international players, and Taiki Paniani and Tio Turua in that team. But on the day, it was just the consistent play of the East Tamaki triple, epitomised by the leading from Storm, that's brought them home.
Yeah, look, they found that short length working for them, and they stuck to it. And as you say, Storm off the front just led beautifully. It set the team up. Probably not helped by Toki struggling a little bit with that jack throw, but yeah, no, East Tamaki took full advantage of their opportunities and have had a pretty convincing win here today.
And you can see a really popular win. I mean, it's a club on the rise.
Yeah.
Great to see membership growing, and they you can see just how delighted they are with that win, and being congratulated by spectators from Carlton, Cornwall, and other clubs. Linda Ralph, the centre singles champion, just there on the left, talking to one of the spectators. But in the Bowls Auckland Centre triples, it's a win to East Tamaki and a first centre title for the 3 players. So really, all in all, just a good steady performance, Brendan.
Yeah, great performance. And look, it caps off what's been a pretty successful weekend where we've had potentially, you could argue the underdogs come through on a couple of occasions with Rima and Nicole winning the women's pairs. And it's a great way to sort of kick off what's going to be an exciting few weeks here in Auckland with the Chamber Champs series starting next week with the singles and progressively through the disciplines, and then concluding with the rerun of our singles event that didn't happen thanks to our lovely weather we have here in Auckland a few weeks ago. So Whilst the winter is coming, the season's still well and alive here in Auckland with a few events coming up over the next 6 weeks, and we will be bringing you broadcasting of selected events with the team from Bowls New Zealand, so do keep an eye out on our social medias and website for what we are streaming. But for those of you with us this weekend, we do thank you for joining us. I've been Brendan and joined by Brett O'Reilly of World Bowls, and it's been a pleasure today from the Remuera Bowling Club. Congratulations to our winners, and we'll see you all again next time.